welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter Show, obviously episode 293. And in this one, we will be talking about another win, a back-to-back win. Hopefully we can go on and get triple wins. But yeah, obviously a very good performance at home. Obviously, we'll be talking on that. And then obviously we'll be getting into the game tomorrow. But before we do any of that, Dad, Happy New Year. Thank you for everything on the channel. And how you been the last few days?
Yeah, well, good, mate. Happy New Year to everyone. And let's hope that 2026 is better. This is the turning point for not just the club and other things in people's lives. Hopefully, but yeah, I'm all good, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, hopefully it can be more of a successful year from us because obviously the last two have not really been great, even though the Prem one was decent for a while. And then obviously we capitulated, I guess. And then last year was just an absolute shambles that we cannot be asked to get into, so we won't. But yeah, moving on to obviously the game the other day. So going into it, Leighton Orient, I did want us to get an early goal, and we actually did that. And it was Kadoa again showing that he can get them early goals. I mean, that's back-to-back games he's done that now. But in terms of the lineup, I'm not sure if Luton had a little mess up, but they did say it was obviously what it was against Wickham. And then they said it was Bramall out and Shaden Morris in, which meant Kadoa then went to the left. And I didn't mind that. I mean, I still think we should use Shaden Morris as an impact player in certain games because, like I say, he's got a track record of doing it. However, he did start the game, and, as much as he's not really got a point to prove in terms of starting, maybe he has being another option. And he definitely rose to that. He obviously got a goal. So that was the only change. And then in terms of the bench, obviously Bramall was on the bench. Brown, Nelson, Saville, Shea, Walters, and Yates. So Walters was back as well. But yeah, I mean, in terms of that first half, really good start again. What we've seen in a lot of games under Wilshere, Huddersfield game, the Bolton game, and the Wickham game, and now this game. That press, that relentless Luton that we love to see, Dad.
Yeah, it was, and the confidence is definitely up now after a few games really, because we've still been quite tight. We drew a lot of games. Played pretty well against Reading. Overall, there was pockets of play there. There's been pockets of play, but now it just seems to have clicked now. But we've got to still keep a still head, basically. Do you know what I mean? Because we know what else has been happening, and you have to be on it. But we're fighting for the second balls. We're playing long balls. We're playing teams what they were doing to us. Do you know what I mean? Putting us under pressure and making us make mistakes. Because at the lower levels, teams will make mistakes if you put them under pressure. Whereas in the Premier League, it's rare. It's more rare. So that's what it took us a long time to learn, but we have learned that now, and where I've said before the quality should shine through, that's what's happening at the moment, and that's really what should be happening in most games now, in my opinion, especially if we make some good signings in January. But yeah, it's a good start. Yeah. Anderson, again, I've watched it in the last few games. He's got a good range of passing. He's good at them through balls, and that was an excellent pass from him. Kadua, the ball sticks to him sometimes, and that was a great turn and obviously a great finish. We know he can bang. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a strike that was from him, and like you say, the pass from Anderson as well. And Anderson's been really good the last two games. I mean, pretty unbelievable, really. I mean, I was saying a few weeks ago, I don't really know what he brings if he's not winning the ball aerially, or tight man marking a player like he did with Joe Taylor when we played Huddersfield. But to be fair to him, he's been really, really good. And I think what's helped him and Mengi in particular anyway, even though I think Mengi has been good for us under Wilshere, obviously, the Forest Green game, but predominantly he's been good in games. I think what's actually helped, and a lot of people ain't noticing it as much, is Mengi's actually on the left side of centre-back, whereas previously he was on the right side. And I just think on the left, and then Anderson's on the right side of centre-back, I feel it works for them. I mean, it's obviously working for them. And, you haven't, with players like Anderson and just players that are not really the quickest, you haven't always got to have pace. But what you've got to have is that know-how of what to do to get to a situation where you will be defending well. Like Lockyer was at times. And, Anderson is doing really well. And I think we're finally seeing, and I said it in the reaction, what the Barnsley fans saw of him. Because obviously they were raving highly about him. And let's be honest, he always had that massive jump up anyway. Let's not forget he went straight from League One to the Premier League. No championship experience. So he did also have that. But what's been the main annoying thing is I don't actually think it's been how he's played for us. Obviously, there's been moments where he's not been great, but I think it's predominantly his injuries, which obviously he can't help. But I think that's what's frustrated fans the most with him. But you've got to be honest. The last two games, I mean, he's been pretty unreal, isn't he, Dad?
Yeah, he has been. He's winning all the headers like Bradley and Pearson kind of used to do, winning all the headers. Bradley was never blessed with pace either. Bradley got caught out sometimes, but I just feel sometimes he just, it's not that he gets caught out with pace so much. He's not switched on some certain situations. He's not great at, or because there was an incident where he just switched off and Ballard should have scored. But other than that, he was fantastic. And I think he just needs a run of games, and that's what he's getting at the moment. He's a big defender as well, but he's bringing that passing element as well, which we need. And if Mengi does go, he's the next one to be doing it, unless we can, put someone else in the middle. Still Longwick can play in the middle. We'll see what happens with signings and stuff. But really well performed in the last couple of games, particularly. And I know we're going to change, but I don't think you can change the centre backs. I don't think you can. I think you can start them depending on the game and then rest them. Do you know what I mean? Because they'll be playing 4 games, so you've got to take them off at some point. But I don't see how you can't not start them. Really, I don't think we've got too many other options. Really, if Makoso still got COVID or whatever, or maybe he's on the bench. Hakeem's sort of been a bit rushed back apparently. I wouldn't change both of the central defenders, like put Hakeem and Makoso in together. Like, do you know what I mean? Or along with whatever. I think we've got to stick with it and try and do what we've done against Exeter, get a good lead, and then you can switch it, make changes, and just sit on it like we did then. But we'll see.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I think what we can do is make changes earlier in games, because we're at that stage. It's a bit of a conundrum, and obviously we'll get into our lineups later, but you don't really want to change a winning team. I mean, we didn't want to make a drastic load of changes against, Leyton Orient from the Wycombe game, because how well the players have been. And yes, we've got the depth, especially the wide options. Obviously, they've said Ali's going to be available for this game, which I think is massive, because he was good in the cup game against them, and obviously it is the former club as well. Unfortunately, Richards isn't going to be available, which is a blow, because I think for an option to bring on, he could be good in this game as well. But, I think we've got the options out wide, but like a lot of the defensive and midfield ones, we do have the options, but at the same time, you want to go with what's been working. I mean, we took Walsh off early the other day. That's to save him surely for this game to start, which he has to. I mean, he's been unreal the last 2 games, because I don't really know.
It's going to be mix and match. He's hinted at a lot of changes that we'll get into it.
Yeah,
but, the second goal, I mean, penalty. From the angle I've seen it's a penalty, but I think Deggy put up a vlog and it looked like sort of miskicked it, but Matey Boy went for the ball at the same time. So, their manager's saying it was never a penalty. Whatever, it happens. We can say it every week. If we've had it, but there was one game where there was 2 blatant handballs. I think we did get, who was that against?
I mean, I can't remember, but I do know what you're on about. We've had it over the years, man. I even go back to the Premier League season.
Initially, it looked like a penalty, whatever, it created it. But the fact is, you still go in and score that penalty. I mean, the stutter and then the little stop and that finish from Clark was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, we was having issues with the viewing, which was a bit frustrating. But, great finish. Again, for me, Clark's, since he's been back, really stepped up as you expect he would, and it just seems to be working as well when he's in the team. Great penalty.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like I said at the time, it was one of them where it's right in the corner, so it's hard for the keeper to save. And Clark did talk on it after, and he said, when he initially left his boot, he thought he was actually going to miss it, and he thought the keeper was going to save it. But like I say, it was one of them ones where it's right in the corner, and it's great to see him on the penalties because we know he's reliable. So it's good to see that. And obviously, he did have a very good game against Leighton Orient last time out. Obviously, very unlucky not to score. And obviously, that was his first game back. And from there on in, I think, obviously, we said it in the game, but I think overall, in terms of the last couple of games when he's been back, I think he's spurred the team on massively as well. And I think he's a reason we are going as, I guess, gung-ho, if you want to call it like that, in terms of the attacking, the pressure. And I think a lot of that is down to him. And we're playing him centrally.
Well, he's still playing like a Premier League player. That's what I'm thinking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And he's spurring them on, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I was going to say as well, it's playing him centrally. I don't want to see him more, like where Walsh is. I don't want to see that. I just feel you're giving Clark such a benefit playing him where we are now.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen anymore.
That is his game. He can play as a cam. He can play out wide as well. But obviously, I don't really want to see that again because I feel if you put a wide player like Kadoa through the middle, it hasn't worked when we've done it the last few games before we obviously started putting him out wide again. But yeah, putting him there, that is the way to go. And yeah, like I say, 2-0 from that moment in, pretty comfortable. I mean, we do get another goal in the half, Shaden Morris again. And what was really good to see is obviously you want to see the goals mix up, but it's good to see them three score again. I mean, they all done that against Wickham as well. And, what I will say about the goal, the third goal, and I said it at the time, Naki Wells, he deserves massive credit, because that header he done, he's not the tallest of players. To get up like he did and put it in the area for Shaden Morris, was absolutely brilliant. And Morris just tapped it away. And he is becoming a fan favourite, Morris. I've got to be honest. He's just joined, but I mean, he'll just drive at the players. And I liked his interview after. I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but it was like the last 20 seconds. He was basically saying the job's not done. Our aim is to get promoted. We can be very happy with these wins, but we got to go on now. And it was like proper, that's what I want to hear from him. And I've rated him anyway since he's come in. And I just feel there is games where you can start him, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of games where the opposition are getting a bit tired. Bringing him on to cause havoc, his pace, he's so direct. Just games like that, he could be very influential in. And, maybe it could even happen tomorrow, to be honest, because, Wilshire's hinted at the changes. But Shaden Morris, he's been brilliant, hasn't he, Dad?
Yeah. I think it's just his fitness. But again, like you say, he said he's working on that. Possibly starts, probably not for me. Not because of his skill or anything, but, I feel like you've got to start Kadura again for me. But impact player, it'd be interesting to see, might even see Brown coming on quite early tomorrow. We just need to play like we have been. And, he got great crossing from him. He's shown his crossing abilities as well, like say Naki Wells. I looked at it again. I thought it was going in. It was going probably just wide. But again, you need your wingers should be running in like that. And, he's got the pace. Jones was doing that when he was playing as well. You know what I mean? These pacey players, they've got to be there and finish it off. And, yeah, it's great to see same scorers again, actually. I think Jackie actually said 3-1 and got all the goal scorers right. That's all good. I got another point. But, yeah, good performance. And in the second half, obviously, we sat back a little bit and we just decided to soak up the pressure, basically. Test ourselves. We tested ourselves in doing that. It could be a bit disappointing. We had a couple of counter attacks where we could have scored again, but generally, you got to deal with that pressure, and I don't think it's the right choice just to step off a little bit. maybe not so against better teams, obviously, but yeah, I think we've done well and kept Ballard quiet. You know, he missed a sitter and he scored that offside header, and which would I would have been disappointed about that goal, but you know, obviously it was offside, so that's cool. But yeah, we saw, and then it's just about the defenders as well. You know, and this is what I'm saying. Like the creative players are doing well. Just need the strikers to step up a little bit more, um, and the defense is shining. So it's all coming together nicely. And once they go on a bit of a roll, this is what we've been waiting for all season with the squad, the depth, players coming back from injury. You know, making some. So I know it's come out. So it's going to be tricky now because certain players are, you know, pushing. You know, like Johnson, for instance, at left back. Do we need to get another left back now? We could put Bramall there. Do you know what I mean? Right back, definitely.
We can also put Longwick as a left back as well.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
right back is a must. That's
Yeah.
what I will say.
Yeah, and then another CDM, possibly another attacking midfielder in the Clark vein. And I don't think we need to go out for a striker. We just keep what we've got, I'd say, including Nordos. Keep, you know what I mean? Keep what we've got. But yeah, so yeah, overall decent performance. Not as thrilling as the Wigan game, I don't think, because we was more sort of gung ho with them, but still good. You know, considering the last performance was terrible. And now we need to really be looking to push on against the next two teams. Exeter, yeah, it could be tricky, but Doncaster fell off. I thought they'd do quite well, but they're finding out that this league is a bit tougher than you think. The table's mental. There's like 3 points between,
and there's a gap now between us and Wickham
or something. Yeah, like Wickham, if they lose 2 games, they could be in the relegation. Like, it's nuts. And then 9th. But we've pulled away a little bit where we need to be really putting pressure on these other teams. You know, Cardiff, Huddersfield, Bradford, you know, Lincoln. We need to be putting pressure on them teams now. So, like you say, yeah, we need to at least get 4 points out of these next 2 games, in my opinion. But yeah, overall decent. We go again tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, like going to what you said on the strikers, I like and attacking wise, I don't really think we need anything in terms like other than an attacking midfielder, maybe. Because obviously we're playing Walsh a little bit deeper right now. So, you know, that's how I see it. But obviously on the strikers, another reason I don't think we will get any strikers is because obviously we've got Elijah coming back some point. You know, I'd probably say either, you know, January, well, obviously January now, like any period from January or just the start of February, I reckon. And then obviously El Hamadi's back, and he done a little Q&A thing earlier on his Twitter, and a Luton fan actually asked him, when are you hoping to be back? And he said sometime this month, hopefully. Basically a January signing at this point. And I do feel sorry for him because obviously his debut for us, well, actually, it weren't his debut. His second game for us away at Stockport, he nearly scored. Obviously, it's cleared off the line. Then he obviously went away, which we can't argue at him for doing. I mean, it's a great opportunity for his nation to go into the World Cup, which I believe they actually are. You know, and he got injured there, unfortunately. And there was a plan. Wilshere did say, you know, they were hoping to obviously, they had a conversation before and like only playing for a half out there, which they did, you know, and he got injured. Like, it's just a shame, isn't it? But yeah, so, you know, you got obviously El Hamadi, you got Elijah, like back. Like, we don't need a striker for me. Yes, Yates and Wells are not scoring, but they're actually being effective now. You know, I don't care if they're not really scoring as long as they're influencing in some sort of way, which they are. You know, they are the last couple of games, so you got to be honest. So, yeah, that's how I see it. But let's go through the comments because there is a lot of comments coming in. Big up to Harry inside. He says, evening, lads. Hope you're both well and happy new year to you both. Yep, you too, mate. Big up to Luton Town fans. Says, come on, Luton. Absolutely. Jackie says, hi, Ty and Daz. Happy new year. You too. Harry also says, just shows everyone how a big win against Wickham can get confidence really up. Like you said, Tyler, in the last reaction, it's about seeing that momentum and needs must 100%. Yeah, exactly, mate. Anderson must have watched you, mate. Oh, mate. I don't know, mate. Possibly. Well, you know, I've see, like I said, I've spoken to him a few times on the Instagram DMs and things. So you never know. You might have thought, "Fuck it, have a little look at the channel." I'll save it for in predictions. That's obviously on the game tomorrow. Big up to Gary. He says, "Hello guys, come on to town. Bring on 2026." Yep, absolutely. Um, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Liam Walsh, I know he definitely looks at Twitter. I'd not really post on that, but yeah. Evening all. Says Paul, evening to yourself. Me personally, I agree with Tyler's thoughts in a previous stream when he said a right back is needed and probably another CDM, and Ebby Adams is linked from Derby, which would be a good signing. Yeah, and I found out the reason he is linked with us, I know he did start for Derby the other day, but the reason he is actually linked with us is because he doesn't really fit Derby's plans in terms of the way they want to play going forward. They want to be a team that's like obviously on the ball a lot, and he's a good player out of possession. And obviously, we are a very good team out of possession. I know we're right up there in the stats in terms of out of possession, and you've seen that in the games, especially the recent ones, especially the Wycombe game in particular, obviously forcing them to mistakes. So I would definitely take him. I mean, that would be a great option. I've said we've needed another CDM, and also he can play attacking as well. He can play anywhere across that sort of central midfield role. So he could be a good option, especially if we are to continue with this 4-2-3-1. But yeah, what's your thoughts on the link stud?
I don't know. I have to look into him a bit more. I've heard of him, but I need to have a deep dive and see, um, his quality, his injury record, and all that. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see. We always get linked with players, but we always pull certain players out of the bag that we don't expect as well. So let's see what happens.
And what I will say as well, I like Saville, but I think this will be an upgrade on him. And even then, Saville at the time, we were happy getting him. And I'm not saying like I actually like Saville. I do think I feel some of the criticism he got is a bit harsh. To be honest, like everyone's like, oh, he's slow on the ball. Well, he's a defensive midfielder. He's not there to fucking score goals. Do you know what I mean? Like he's there to defend, mop up. So, and I feel certain away games it will benefit us personally. But yeah, going back to Ebou Adams, he will be an upgrade. I've got to be honest because he also scores the goals. And like I say, he can play more attacking. And again, I mean, if we can manage to get another championship player, he's at least a championship player, obviously playing in there, from League One, that is getting another statement. And you've got to give the club credit and the recruitment team. And I know obviously there's been certain players we're not happy with, but a lot of them now are stepping up, and you've got to give them a bit of credit for that. So yeah, we got to be on it. We got to be on it. And this is quite a defining transfer window as well, I feel. Because if we can get the right holes that we need to fill alongside the players that are now showing their qualities, on top of players that haven't really played, the likes of Ali and things like that, then, we should be up there, really, come the end of the season. So that's how I see it. Happy New Year, all says Paul. Same to you, mate. Yeah, well, I've heard with that, it's basically all in our hands. It's all in our hands. West Ham can't get him back.
Well, I heard everyone. I think some people are shit stirring or scaremongering or whatever. But when we signed him, it was clear there was an obligation to buy, not an option to buy, an obligation to buy. So that means no matter what happens, do you know what I mean? It might be.
I think that might be the same with Longwick.
Yeah. So he's our player, mate. Do you know what I mean? What we need to worry about is if we don't go up, teams, could possibly be looking at him. Do you know what I mean? Because he's definitely way too good for this league, and stuff like that. But same as Morris, same as a lot of our players. To be fair, so we need to be clicking together and going for it, and keeping it. But yeah, we'll definitely get him permanently.
Well, hopefully that's the first. I know we've basically got him, but like just to make it official, I hope this is the first because we can't do it in January. It's January tomorrow. We can just we can just get it done. So hopefully, like tomorrow or next few days, we just officially have him. He's officially ours because that is what we that'll be a starter. He's already at the club, so it's not like it's going to be a bit more to do. Everything's settled in terms of the wages.
I thought we just had him. Well, not just had him. We had him on loan for the whole season and then sign him in the summer.
Yeah. Because that stage is done, though, in terms of the wages, now we can get him now. We can get him now and everything. So yeah, I mean, if we could get that done over the line, like officially, essentially, then yeah, that's sick. That is sick. Yeah. By the way, everyone got a point. Obviously, I'll get into the points, but literally everyone said a Luton win, not even a draw anywhere. So yeah, we all actually got a point, which has been a lot of times where none of us have got nothing. So yeah, that was all good. And also on Ebu Adams, Harry reckons it'll be about 2 or 3 million. Yeah, it is saying on here it'll be about 2-3 million, which is decent. And like I say, that is good. And I know there is Derby fans that do rate him. They do rate him, and he does get a couple of goals as well. Like I say, and he's just the way they want to play. He's out of the pecking order in terms of the way they want to play. It's not really they think he's rubbish. It's just like I say, the way they want to play. So yeah, that's how I see it with that. But yeah, in terms of the player ratings, we'll get into the player ratings now for this game. So again, there's going to be a lot of good ratings for this game. So yeah, moving on to Keeley. Obviously, another clean sheet for him. Against his former club as well. I'd be happy with that. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure in the second half from them, but again, I think that comes down to the facts. We were cruising really. I mean, I know there was a lot of people frustrated with that second half. I wasn't, to be honest. Because we put ourselves in a good position. In the first half, and we damaged them really. I think, especially getting that third goal in that game. But anyway, Keeley for this game, yeah, clean sheet. Didn't have an awful lot to do, but when he did, he dealt with it. So I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5 as well. There was a couple of moments where he was coming out and out with some of his passes initially were a bit, too sort of Premier League like. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that time on the ball in these leagues. And then he looked injured for a little bit as well. So I'm not too sure about that. I haven't heard anything, so I'm presuming that he's fine. But because obviously he went down and then, I don't know, he just didn't look himself for a little bit.
He was playing it long, like usually it'd take a few touches.
I mean, we'll see, but hopefully it's all right. So keepers, like say, normally will carry on regardless. Do you know what I mean? 4-10 games in a week, they'll still be there. But we have to keep an eye on that. 'Cause if he is feeling anything, then you don't want to risk it. He's got some criticism, but Shay, we I think we can still do a job on that. But for the rest of the season, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, and it's like I said, 9 times out of 10, I've got faith in Shay because he has stepped up when he's needed to. But obviously, the last game we can judge it on is that Fleetwood game, and that first goal. I mean, he should have saved it. Let's be honest. So there is them little worries about it now creeping up, but it should be all right. And I have seen a bit of team news. It's nothing majorly what I usually see, but nothing was mentioned on Keeley. So I assume he's going to be all right, to be honest. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Going through some comments, Callum Fowler predicts us to lose. Game's gone. To be fair, going into him, I'm not overly surprised. But, yeah, I don't watch his stuff. But I know a few people do. I don't mind him, I don't mind him.
To Robbie Fowler.
No.
Pauline Fowler, Martin Fowler.
Oh, Keeley 7 says Jackie. Paul says 7.5. Keeley 10. Jeez. Longwit 8. We're going to Longwit now. Again, I thought it was a good game in right back. It's not his position, but I thought it was a good game from him again. So I'll give him a 7.
I'll give him a 7.5. Steady. He actually seems to be relishing that a little bit at times. But obviously against certain teams or certain players, they'll do him because it's not his natural position. But generally, overall, you know what I mean. He's not panicking. He's trying to do his job. He's doing what he's asked to. We know he's better. That goal he scored the other week, fucking brilliant. He could play anywhere in that defence. And that's what we want from him. Well, I'm looking to keep him. I think he's got real quality and potential. So yeah, I'll give him 7.5.
Yeah, even if we can get him done at the end of the season or whenever, that'd be good. Because like I say, he is showing that he played right back against, with all due respect, the lesser teams. But he's doing well. Like you say, he's comfortable there, and like I say, he can play left back as well as obviously his main position, which is centre back. He can play, for me, he can play on the right side of centre back and the left. So yeah, definitely be looking to keep him. And we saw them early signs even in them pre-season games, Dad. in particular, I think it's Gillingham away. I mean, he looked very good in that lively sort of opening bit.
Yeah.
And he had a point to prove. I mean, he didn't get picked for the Barnsley game. You know, he was frustrated with that. Obviously, Wilshere come out and said that. And then he's come in since that Huddersfield game, and he's been pretty unreal, given that he's obviously played centre back there and then moves to the right back. So yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, other comments. Longwick 8 for Longwick there. 7.5 says Jackie. Longwick 8 as well. So yeah, that's that when it comes to that. Moving on to, we'll go over to, who should we go over to? We'll go over to Anderson. For me, he's man of the match in this game. Obviously, the last two games have been really good, but I just think, you know, other than that moment, I'm not really going to look too much into that because I just think as a whole, you know, we were just at a stage where we were just maybe a bit too comfortable, but it's good to see that because, you know, a lot of times we get in a position where we're in a good position and we end up bottling it. So, you know, I'm not really going to blame him for that, but just like in terms of like bringing other things to his game, which I didn't really think he could do, which he's showing that he can. I thought he was really, really good in the game. So I'll give him an 8 man of the match.
Yeah, 8 man of the match. Winning loads of headers. I don't know how many headers that guy's won this season. Clearances, some vital blocks in there. Just always switched on. Got the assist as well for the first goal. And then when we really needed him and Mengi to step up in the second half, he really stood out. And that's what you need. I can't see him being dropped at the moment. So yeah, 8 man of the match.
Yeah, I agree. Paul says 8 as well.
I'd say that's probably his second one at least because I think.
Oh, by the way, Dad, I was about to say he's got 4 from us this season.
Yeah, because I know we've gave him a couple.
Start of the season, he was very good.
Yeah, he was.
Obviously, you were very happy with him. Obviously, on that fan cam against Wimbledon, and then since then he done all right. Obviously, he scored against Peterborough as well in the 2-0 win from the corner. So I actually thought he did start the season well, and then there was a shaky period. But now he's doing even better than he was at the start for me. So that's how I see it. Harry says he's a good content creator, but predicts games sometimes just wrong. But I do respect him. He thought Northampton draw a bit Brewers, 5-1 Brewers. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him on TikTok, and over the years he has given a lot of respect to Luton. So I actually don't mind him. And I was actually trying to get him on for when we played Barnsley, but unfortunately didn't quite get back to me. But yeah, I think he's all right. But I don't watch his YouTube stuff, so I can't comment on that side of things. Big up to Stephen. He says, big up Ty and Dazza. Happy New Year. Sorting dinner while listening. No, big up to yourself, mate. Good to see you in it. But yeah, the other ratings for Anderson. Jackie, 9 was there. A lot of comments flying in. Jackie said 8. But yeah, moving on we'll go over to the other side, which is Mengi, who again thought had another really good game. And again, you know, people said, "Oh, I might be playing like this for a move." I couldn't care less as long as he's playing well. I really don't care. And I did say that, you know, months ago. I said, you know, under Wilshere, if his mentality is there, he could be our best defender, and he's definitely one of our best defenders. And he's, again, the Wickham game, he was good. This game, he was good. Like, he just deals with it for me. You know, just clear it away. And he did also clear it off the line in this game. So, yeah, Mengi really good as well. Mengi, I'll give a 7.5.
I'll give him an 8 as well. I thought he was just as good. That yellow card he got, I'm not sure what he got that for. I think it might have been handball. Like, I don't know. But, yeah, obviously not aerially as good as Anderson, but I don't think anyone is in the team. But, you know, clearing off the line, no nonsense defending. Always got a good touch on the ball, you know, tries to play them passes and stuff. Confident centre back. And, hopefully we can keep him, you know. But yeah,
at least till the season. I'll be happy with that.
An 8 again for me.
Because what I will say is I don't really want to lose a defender like him. Not in January anyway, because, you know, you might fall into a situation maybe like McGuinness where it's a bit like, oh, shit, it's out of nowhere sort of thing.
We definitely would, yeah.
Like, I think the only defender we might lose is Makoso. And I just think that's because he's maybe not really favoured in the side. But in terms of like someone who's starting regularly, which is Mengi at the moment, I don't really want to lose a defender like that. Not yet, anyway. I expect to lose him, but not yet. Like, hopefully, we can see it out to at least the summer, and then go from there. Really, Paul says 8.5 on Mengi. Jackie says 7.5. Moving on to Johnson. Again, I thought Johnson was decent. You know, again, like we keep saying, he's obviously got a lack of games, so there is a few moments. But I think there were more shown in the Wickham game than this game. I thought he was slightly better in this game in terms of them two games. And yeah, for me, he's still got to be starting there at this moment in time. So yeah, fair play to him. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Like I say, it's difficult, you know, because he's just come back from injury. He's played 3 games in a row or whatever. Like we need him again because we ain't got, unless you put Longwick there, and do you know what I mean? Hakeem on the right or Walters on the right, but nah, for me, he's still young. He's starting. He deserves to. We wanted him starting from the beginning of the season, didn't we? We thought he could really push on in this league, and I want to see that. I think he might keep, and if he can keep fit, he can keep that place for me. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like Wilshere said loads. You know, him and Bramwell have had conversations. He wants to pay him higher, and Bramwell said he wants to do that. And yeah, I mean, you know, we all know how Naismith's been. You know, and obviously, you know, he's injured at the moment. Johnson's got to capitalise on that. And again, like I've said, he's obviously had them high expectations. He wants to play in the Champions League one day. Obviously, not with us. But yeah, you know, you set out them expectations, then you should be doing well in League One, and he's showing it. You know, and the thing that's impressed me the most with him is, like I say, his lack of game time and the way he's been pretty comfortable. Obviously, there's been a few moments, but there's going to be. You know, there's going to be. I remember Mengi's first game back. I think it was last season at some point, and he was a bit all over the place. So it just happens. So, but predominantly, you know, he's been good. So you got to definitely give him the credit. Johnson 7.5. Yeah, no, absolutely. He was good. Stephen North says Mengi's attitude shift and putting in performances. We know he can. Yeah, exactly. And I will say, I think Wilshere deserves credit for that because, like I say, under Wilshere, he's been like what he was in the Prem. You know, I would say. Um, you know, other than the Forest Green game, but then again, that was just one of them games. Predominantly, he's been right on it. You know, and even like when we score goals, you can see the passion that he's showing, and like even the clearances he's done, Stockport away that tackle, you know, just stuff like that you love to see. So fair play to Wilshere and him. But yeah, moving on to go over to Walsh. Again, I thought he was good. I do believe, obviously, we took him off to make sense, but I do believe if we carried on with him, he would have been as consistent as he has been the last 2 games, and he probably would have been my man of the match. To be honest, he was that good again in that more deeper role. So yeah, massive fair play to him. To be quite honest with you, I didn't really think he could play that. A lot of us wouldn't have thought he could be playing that well in that role, especially after last year. I mean, the red cards he got. So got to give him credit. To be honest, it's not really his game, but he's showing that he can definitely play there. So for me, I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5. Half a game. It could be right that he could be, you know, took off at half time to be starting the next game. Maybe, do you know what I mean? But yeah, he did. He continued his performance from Wickham, spraying the passes out. There's a couple of dodgy moments, like where the passes were a bit short to him or put him under pressure. I think against better players or stronger players, they'd muscle him off the ball. And do you know what I mean? That would be an issue. I'd rather have Saville there in that respect. But, you know, 45 minutes, good passing, you know, tidying up, good play, 7.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Walsh 8, and I mentioned that on the watch on, didn't I? There was a pass from Longwick that was a little bit suspect to him, and Keeley at one point as well. But yeah, moving on to Lamine. Again, I thought he was all right. The thing is with Lamine, I think he's doing well, but like in comparison to others, it's not standing out as much, but he's still doing all right. So yeah, I mean, Lamine, I will give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I will. You know, he was trying things that maybe too hard at times, but he's still got a good touch. He's still a quality player. But I think that he just that's not really his position. He doesn't like to play in that position. He'd rather be in the Clark role. Do you know what I mean? Pushing up more, and he's shown that he's quite good at that. Maybe like you say, he's the one that's going to be going, so he's not really going in so much as the other players because you don't want to get injured and stuff. But he done all right. It'd be interesting to see if he starts. I haven't got him starting. But yeah, I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Jackie's gone with a 7. Moving on to, we'll go over to Shaden Morris. Like I say, obviously he had an opportunity to start. He fully took it. Like I've said loads of times, still think based on his record, his track record, I think he is good as an impact player. And maybe he could be that tomorrow, given that Wilshire's obviously said about the rotation, things like that. Kadoa's form, do you know what I mean? Ali coming back as well. Like, it is good as much as we haven't got all our wingers back. Even Bramall obviously is another option that's been playing, obviously higher. It's good to see that we've got them options there. And that is where, like, I look at our squad and I think that's the most dangerous thing. Like, in terms of great options, is the wingers, is the wide players. But yeah, in terms of his performance, very good. Scored, obviously celebrating in front of the crowd. Obviously, I know his family were there as well. I think that's the first time they've seen him play for Luton so far. So that's always good to see, scoring in front of him. And yeah, I thought he was good. So, you know what? I'll give him a 7.5.
I'll give him an 8. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was causing problems. You always know when he's on the ball that potentially can get across in the corner, goal. You know what I mean? Something like he's quite raw in little bits as well, but you can see the ability in him. And if we can get him up to proper fitness standards, Championship, Premier League fitness levels, you could have a player on your hands right there. And players kick on at different points in their career, and this could be really good for him. I think he's got a hell of a lot of quality. He caused problems. It reminds me of who was it we had in Premier League?
Chio,
yeah. But just probably better quality in certain aspects. I think he's already got a good finish on him. You know what I mean? And his trickery and getting past players is unreal. Like really good ability there. And he made an impact. He only he come off after, I can't remember, 60 odd minutes or something. 56 minutes. Done really well. 8.
Yep. No, absolutely. I totally agree. He is looking very, very lively. And like I said, even from his debut, seeing him live, just how rapid he was, I was like, geez, like flipping out. We've had fast players, but it'd be interesting. Obviously, we'll never see it, but it'd be interesting to see him and Chio in a race, a little sprint, see who's faster. Because, at the time we thought he was very fast, and obviously he still is. But I do think Shaden Morris is slightly faster, to be honest. And that's what I mean. Like, when opposition players, they have, they're feeling tired of that, he can capitalise bringing him on in games because he's direct. Like, he shows that. Like, you look at Ali at the start of the season, he was cutting in a lot. He's cutting it back. He wasn't, just every time I see Shaden Morris playing, he'll just go at him. I don't think, maybe there's been a couple times, but in comparison, there hasn't been times really where he's sort of stopped and played the ball, back. He's just gone for it. So yeah, he's looking really, really good. And like I say, he is becoming fan favourite already for a lot of fans. Like I say, I really like what he said the other day. Really like that last 20 seconds, like the ambition, like that. That's what we're talking about. That's what we want to see. Yeah, like we're getting these wins and it's great, but we're not settling on it. We want to be right up there. Do you know what I mean? Which we should be. We really should be. And that's what I'm saying. If we can fill the right holes in January, I mean, we should be right up there. We really, really should. Right now, and I think I might have said it on the watch along the other day, I'm not really looking at Cardiff, Lincoln and Bradford until we play Lincoln and Bradford and Cardiff again. Like, in terms of the league positions, I'm not. I've got to be honest. Like, obviously, we have to look at Bradford or Cardiff still win the league for me, but we got to look at Bradford or Lincoln, obviously, if we do get into the playoffs. But right now, I'm looking at like Bolton, Stevenage, Huddersfield, Stockport. They're the teams I'm trying to look at first.
Stevenage.
I've got to be honest. You've got to be honest though. They're right up there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how. Honestly, I watched them a few weeks ago. They were awful, absolutely awful. But it's their home form, I think. I don't rate them away, to be honest. I don't really rate them anyway, obviously. But you've got to be honest. Right now, they're the teams I'm looking at. I'm not like I say, I'm not looking higher up yet until we play them, obviously. But in terms of like the league and that's how I see it. Um, mate, that's crazy to me. I mean, I know they've kicked on a little bit now, but again, he's another player that can just cause havoc with his pace. But yeah, I don't think we will. I don't think we will because that's not really a place we need to get. Wingers. I've got to be honest. I'm so happy with the wingers we've got. Bramall's obviously part of that conversation now because he's playing up there. So yeah, that's how I see it. Jackie says, I'm going to the Stevenage game. Yeah, enjoy it. Hopefully we can do them. Hopefully we can do them. And that is obviously very soon. That is after this hectic schedule. And it is them. So hopefully we can do them and just shut them up, to be quite honest with you, after the last game. But yeah, Morris 7.5, says Paul. Jackie's gone with an 8. Moving on we'll go over to Clark. Again, another really good game. There was a really good picture that come out of him during the game. It was on the Twitter where he's like holding the badge, in the rain and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, he's stepped the team on even more for me when he's come back, just his influence. And he's one of them players, like, because obviously Ruddock's gone now. He's one of them players that, the players will look at and like think of him as the guy, basically, in terms of like experience everything with the team. And obviously he was there 2 years ago in the Premier League, obviously way before that as well. And yeah, I thought he was really good again. I mean, like we've said, he's not your typical captain. He's not going to be shouting and vocal, but he just does his talking on a pitch. And I think he'll have the conversations with the players individually and be like, right, you need to do this, you need to do that, etc. And yeah, he just brings the team a lift, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, he was really good in the game, so I'll give him an 8.
I'll give him a good goal penalty. Active, played the full 90 minutes as well, so that'd be interesting to see. But he's only come back from injury recently, but I'd be looking to give him 60 minutes at least, starting, definitely. 8.
Yeah, I agree. You've got to start him in that central role. Like I say, you have to keep going with what is working. And like you say, take him off. And it's like I said earlier, if we put ourselves in a good position tomorrow, we can we can make early subs. And like I say, we've got Ali back, so he's another option. Bramall or obviously Ali. There's things we can do. Obviously, we're getting to lineups, but there is options. So yeah, Clark 8 says Jackie, and also on the Stevenage game. Hope so. Yeah, literally. Moving on to Kadoa, again, really, really good. Obviously got the goal, great strike, kicked on. That's back-to-back games. He's got early goals. Obviously he is the top scorer for us. He's just balling, mate, absolutely balling. And I've got to be honest, from the games where he was coming on, like the Blackpool game and that period there, I thought he'd be more of like an impact player, but he should be starting these games. I know we got these quick turnarounds, but he is probably the first player on the team sheet alongside Clark for me. First 2 players I look at right now. So, yeah, for me, I will give him a 8 as well.
I'll give him an 8. Like narrowly, like it was close between him and Anderson. Obviously, got like the assist kind of as well. But he's just real quality, isn't he? And he can play either side of that the wing, and he's looking. We give criticism to the recruitment team sometimes, but do you know what I mean? Like him, Bramall, and Morris, particularly, have been excellent. So there's other players we haven't really seen. Hakeem, not really. Al Hamadi, not really. And things like that. But yeah, like he's way too good for this league, and we need to be starting him again, and taking advantage of what he brings, because he's putting fear into defenders. Do you know what I mean? Like we got to cope with Bramall, we got to cope with Kadua, we got to cope with Morris. And that's what we should be doing anyway, and most League One teams won't be able to cope with all of that, and that's what we're kind of showing, and we need to continue to show. And having him on the pitch is a must. But yeah, 8.
Yeah, I agree. And I think even when we've seen the short, periods of El Hamadi and Hakeem, they have actually looked good. I mean, we only have to go to that Northampton game for Hakeem where he's cleared it off the line. El Hamadi's second game, I mentioned it earlier. Obviously, he had that shot, didn't he, against Stockport, which cleared off the line. So they have shown their moments, even though they've had obviously a lack of game time in comparison to the others. But yeah, Paul says Clark 8. Ryan says, sorry, I just arrived. No worries, mate. Clark was a 9 for me. Yep, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. He was very good again. Kadoa 8. Kadoa 7.5. Kadoa 8. Jack says she agrees. And then moving on to Wells. Again, that third goal in particular, I'll give him massive credit. Great header over to Shaden Morris. And, I think, even though he's not scoring the goals, you have got to give him credit for his last 2 games in terms of his performance levels. We are seeing him much improved. Like, again, going to that Port Vale game, he was jogging. Whereas now, he's sprinting. He's trying to get there and win the ball and stuff. So you have got to give him credit. Yes, he's not getting goals, but if he's still impacting the others in another way, I don't really care, to be honest. So, yeah, as for him, I'll give him a 7.5. Good performance from Wells.
I'm going to give him 8 for his link-up play was good. He was a nuisance. He got us the penalty. Got the assist, you can say, for Morris. And he was generally, while he was on the pitch, he was a proper nuisance. And that's what you want to see from someone of his quality and his ability and his vision and his experience, etc. And he really showed that. And he'll push Yates on to do the same. And even give that experience to the younger players as well who are up front. So, and that's what we want. That's what we fully expect. And he's showing that. Probably will be rested. I would rest him for tomorrow's game. But yeah, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, like you say, he's definitely pushing Yates on because, like, last 2 times Yates has come on, obviously he had that moment, didn't he, with the third goal against Wickham? The Jordan Clark goal, anyway, obviously, with the keeper, putting him off. And then, obviously, I thought he was decent the other day, to be honest, when he come on Yates as well. And yeah, maybe it could be a change around for Wells. It would make sense, given, obviously he's one of the older strikers as well. We didn't obviously expect him to play as much as he has this year. And obviously we have got Yates there who's doing similar things in terms of, getting involved. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not scoring, but he's getting involved. So I could see it. I mean, me personally, I haven't gone with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, to be honest. Ryan says the fact that Clark has been doing this for a long time, we have to give him credit. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and going back to like when we were a little bit poor and things like, if anyone should be like having that losing mentality, it should have really been him. Given that he's been with us for the last 2 years, but like he's the player who's spurred everyone on really since he come back from the Leighton Orient game, and he's a massive part of the reason that we're doing what we're doing now. To be quite honest with you,
even before that, he was our top scorer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. And we've got to that stage now where, whether there'll be interest in him or not, I just think we should give him what he deserves. Really, I mean, we need to be keeping hold of him. We really, really do because, obviously he's been there for years. And to think, like I always say it, but to think we got him for free, and he's been as good as he has been. Like some of the goals he scored over the years. I mean, the playoff final, the 2 goals against Man City. Obviously, I know he didn't win, but still, you know what I mean. And obviously, he scored a few times this season as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, captain as well right now, which he thoroughly deserves. So massive, massive shout out to him. Paul says 8 for Wells. Jackie says 7.5 has been a lot better. Yeah, exactly. Ryan says 7. And then moving on to the subs, Saville. I thought he was all right when he come on. I'll just give him a 7.
Yeah, 7. Had to do what he come on half time, and he was pushing. Nearly got an assist as well. I think at one point done really well. Yeah, 7.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Yeah. See, favorite player. He is my favorite player, to be honest. And yeah, I would definitely be gutted. I'll be honest. Obviously, I said it, didn't I? A good few hat shows ago now. If we would continue in the form we were on, it was after the Mansfield game, then I think he could have went. But I think now we're kicking on a little bit. I think we can keep him. So, yeah, that's how I see it. And then moving on to Bramall. Bramall, again, I thought he was all right, but obviously, second half, we were in a comfortable stage, really. So I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, same. Like we didn't need to we weren't looking to utilize him. You know what I mean? I think we probably will do tomorrow, but yeah, it's just a little take it easy kind of. Come on, take it easy. But yeah, 6.5. Nelson, I'll give a 6. Didn't really do a lot.
Got a yellow card as well.
Hard, even though I do think he starts tomorrow. Started the last game against Exeter. I can see that happening. Yeah, for me, Yates 7. Was positive, was looking to get in their pockets, etc. Walters weren't too bad either for me. Come on,
yeah.
I'll
give Walters a 6.
Needs a game, needs to get back into the swing of things. Another one I expect probably to start tomorrow, but I'll give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I agree on all of them bar Walters. I go slightly lower for Walters, but like I said on the reaction, I thought he was all right. In the game, like all the subs were all right. Like as much as yes, we weren't maybe how some people wanted to see us carry it on, but I think the fact we were in such a good position, like obviously we scored more goals in the Wickham game as well. Obviously at that period we were 2-0 up, so I think like just being 3-0 up, it just
most teams would do the same.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like I weren't actually disappointed. Obviously, yes, if we play a better side, I expect us to just carry on going at them, to be quite honest with you, especially at home. If say, for example, I don't think it'll happen, but say that happened against Stevenage, I'd expect us to just keep going at them, to be quite honest with you. Or like Stockport home, someone like that. But like Leighton Orient obviously got players out as well. Like I won't really Ballard missed that chance. Do you know what I mean? Even if they got a goal, I just don't think they'd have brought it back, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, and I think the players knew that, to be honest. Harry says, I think in a way it's good the form has come at this point, as I think there's a better chance you can keep them players from after his transfer window, like Mengi and Clark. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, when we lost to Mansfield, I was saying, if Clark carries on being the player he's being, he could go. But, yeah, I don't think... I'm hoping we can keep Mengi until at least the summer, really. I do expect him to go, but I'm hoping we can keep him till the summer at least. And then have a good send-off, really, and keep these performance levels going, to be quite honest with you. Because, he can attract interest, even when he was out of form. This summer window, he was, Burnley were looking at him. And obviously they're... in the Premier League, probably will go down, but still, like at the time they were looking at him as well. Like a few games they had after that, obviously to start the season, they actually defended pretty well. So that tells you quite a lot. There's periods while they narrowly lost to Liverpool and things like that. It's excuse me, all interesting there. But yeah, in terms of the points, like I say, everyone gained the points. So I'm just going to read out how many points everyone's on. So I'm on 13. Dad, you're on 8. Jackie, you're on 15. Rich, you're on 9. Paul, you're on 15. Stephen, you're on 14. Tom's on 1. Phil's on 8. Hold up. What's going on my phone? Andy's on 2. Darth Vader's on 14. Ben's on 12. Terry's on 9. Dave's on 8. Blitz on 7. Chat GPT's on 8. Jamie's on 11. Harry, you're on 2. Lewis, you're on 4. And Ryan, you're on 1. Do get your predictions in for this game if you haven't already going into it. But yeah, we will go into the game now. So Exeter away. Yes, we beat them in the cup. Yes, it was a good, convincing win, especially with the side we actually put out. And like me and my dad said at the time, we didn't expect a harder game due to the fact obviously they're in a little bit of financial issues, so we expected them to go for a little bit more, given it was a knockout stages, things like that. Obviously, unfortunately, did have that little fire at the stadium. Obviously, it's all good now, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, I do expect a different game to that game. A lot of reasons, really. Partly because, obviously there was a few fans of Exeter that went to that, so fair play, but I think obviously being at their place, their crowd are going to be right up for it. And it is that stage for them where they're only actually not in the relegation zone because of goal difference. And I looked at the games for the teams below. Weirdly enough, I can see Plymouth, despite them not being great, I can see them getting something at Stevenage. I just don't think. I think Stevenage might drop off a little bit now, to be honest. But the other teams, I think they will be all right, like Exeter, like in terms of like the games they've got. I think Doncaster will like Bolton or something, and Port Vale have got like someone quite difficult. I can't remember who it is, but yeah, I think they'll be all right. But it's just that game, which will mean they'll be in the relegation zone, and it's that stage where they're actually all right at home as well. They did lose quite a lot of games at home at the start, and they have throughout the season, but their last five, they are unbeaten. And some of the teams, you'd probably maybe expect them to get a result against. Obviously, one of them being Plymouth in the derby, given how Plymouth have been as well on top of that. But their last win in particular at home, I thought was very good. 3-0 win against Barnsley. So I'm not going to underestimate them going into this game. I do expect a tougher game than the Virtue Trophy game. But in terms of the team news for us going into this game, so Hakeem has been rushed back a little bit too early, so he's going to be out for a short period after making a brief return, obviously against Wickham. Nordos, Richards, Makoso and Izzy Jones continue their recovery from illness and injury, but Ali is available. So that's good to see, especially Ali, because I thought he was good in the cup game against these guys. And do you know what? He could be an option to start for this game. I know, obviously, he's not been on the bench recently, but I think he could do well in this game. You saw it in the cup game. And even when he stopped playing like them periods after that, we was a little bit surprised. We felt he still deserved to start, despite how everyone else is doing, obviously the wide players. So, yeah, I mean, he could be an opportunity to start. Unfortunately, Richards is not available for this. This would be a shame, because I'd say it'd be a good game to bring him on for. Obviously it'd be great for him as well to go back to Exeter and everything like that. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. But I don't know, in terms of obviously I've done a lineup, but in terms of like going into it, I mean, it's similar to what I've said going into the Leyton Orient game. Yes, there's a quick turnaround. Obviously, we're going down south as well to then go up north, but at the same time, I don't want to see a drastic load of changes, even though Wilshire's hinted there is going to be a few. I just feel there's certain partnerships working. In particular, defence. You can't really change the defence for me. The only one maybe, but I think he is going to be all right, it's Keeley. Just due to, obviously, the way he was after the game. But I think other than that, you can't, in terms of that, the midfield, you can maybe put Saville in, instead of Lamine. I would be putting Walsh in, though, on the form he's been in. I don't really want to see him not in this game. I know some people have been sceptical about Saville and Walsh. I mean, me personally, I don't think they've been awful together. So I don't know. And there's certain games I think Saville's suited better away. So this could be a game for him. And then obviously up front, yeah, I could see Yates being out. But yeah, I'll get into my lineup anyway in terms of this game. Do get in your lineups as well for this game as well. While I just try and get it up, so bear with me a second. Right, so let me get it up. Where is it? There it is. Let me just wait, and there we go. Right, so this is my lineup for the game. So Keeley in goal. There hasn't been anything said. I expect to see him in goal. And then Longwick. I would stick with Longwick. I can understand what you were saying, Dad, and obviously, Walter's getting more minutes. I just think I would stick with Longwick, to be honest. Anderson, you got to stick with it. Like that's partnership. You've got to stick with them for me. If Hakeem was available, then maybe you could put him in for, I don't know, one of the two. Probably Anderson, to be honest. But, yeah, you can't drop them for me. Johnson, again, you can't really drop him for me. Also with the fact, not that I'd put him in anyway, but obviously Naismith's out. I don't want to see Bramall further back, personally. So, yeah, that's why I say it. I would go Lamine and Walsh. I wouldn't mind if Saville's in. But you've definitely got to play Walsh. I would be disappointed to see Walsh on the bench, to be honest. I don't think that should be happening. Clark as the captain, obviously centrally, you've got to stick with that for me. Kadoa on the right, I would put Morris to the bench for this game. Again, going back to what I said, very good as an impact player. And he's obviously still trying to get his fitness up as well. So it makes more sense with him than Kadoa for me in this game personally. Ali to the left against his former club. And obviously, I have put Bramwell to the bench again. So, I mean, looking at it, when you think about it for the wide players, you've got obviously Shayden Morris could come on for Kadoa, and then Bramwell could come on for Ali. So that's what I mean. We're actually, and that's without like Isaiah Jones as well. We're stacked, out wide. So I would actually start Ali for this game. And also, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Ali's last game was the Fleetwood game. And even then, he come off in that, and people were surprised. Obviously, Darth Vader had done the vlog, and he was surprised because, how well he was doing, plus his lack of minutes anyway. So you thought that he'd play more. It's not like a Walsh situation the other day where you want to sort of rest him up for the next game. So I would actually start Ali. And then I have gone Wells up front, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if it is Yates. So yeah, I've actually only really made, a change for the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's like I say, Yates is in, and Saville's in, to be honest. But like I say, I don't want it to be Saville for Walsh. I'd like it to be Saville for Lamine if it's not Lamine again, to be honest. And I think the defence has got to stay like that. I wouldn't mind if Makoto is on the bench and he comes on. I wouldn't mind that. But I just feel with that partnership, with the way it's going, you've got to stick with it, to be quite honest with you. So that's my lineup for the game. Do let me know what you guys do think of that. Would you be open to seeing that type of lineup? Like I say, do let me know. In terms of my dad's lineup, let me get it on the screen for you guys. It's just getting up now. There you go, Dad. That's your lineup.
So I've gone with a 4-1-4-1 formation, which I think is worked for us. Obviously, I've made quite more changes. I've put Walters in at right back. I think he might start, and reasoning for that for me as well is Longwit can play anywhere across that defence really. So I'd rather have him on the bench in case like someone gets injured or whatever. I'm bringing Saville back in for a bit just to get us through, because Exeter can break quite a lot, and you've got to be a bit careful with that. And I think he's been rested, and he can go and definitely put in a shift. I'm sticking with Kadua. I think you've got to Bramall. Wilshere said that he's kind of rested him. Teams are looking at how to play against him. I think he probably come straight back in, and also can help Johnson out in that position, and possibly go into that position as well. Maybe if Johnson doesn't start, because he started a lot of games, we'll see. Clark, you've got to start for me. I'm going to start Nelson. He started the last game and we've done all right. So just to give the other players a little bit of rest if we need to bring them on, and then obviously resting Wells for Yates and giving Yates a chance to see what he can do. So yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if Yates goes in, to be honest. And obviously we have started Nelson like against the team that was down there. And I believe still might be. Harry, you have to let me know, mate. But Burton, obviously we did start Nelson away in that game. So maybe we could do. And Bramwell might go in, more right where you've put him. I wouldn't be surprised because he has up more to speed, I guess, if you compare him to Ali. But I wouldn't mind who it is, to be honest. I just think Morris, just put him on the bench for, the fitness things and that track record of what he's got. But in terms of other lineups, Harry has put this. So Keeley in goal, Longwit right back, Anderson, Mengi, Bramall. We'll bring Johnson on the second half. Again, we could do that because he's had a lack of minutes, so it makes sense. Walsh and Lamine, so he's gone with that. Same formation as me. Morris on the right, Clark in the middle, and I'm guessing Brown to the right. Bring Godola on second half. Yates. I mean, Brown's another option as well. I don't know if I want to see Brown up front though. I'll be honest, I think he's better out wide. Or even like maybe like you take Clark off. I think Brown could do all right in that type of role because I think he is quite good at affecting the play. I just think up front, sole striker. Obviously, last time we saw it was Port Vale. It didn't really quite work out. So yeah, that's what I will say on Brown. Obviously, I know you've put him out wide anyway, but yeah, I think Wells and Yates are the more two options now in terms of that striker up there. I don't think Nordos going to get a look in, guys. I've got to be honest. I think he goes, and obviously Elijah and El Hamady are still out. So till they're back, you see how it is really. In terms of that, yeah, I'll be honest, mate. I can see Plymouth going there and winning. To be honest, I've just got a feeling. I've just got a feeling they're going to win like 1-0 or something. But yeah, in terms of other lineups, Keeley, Longwick, Anderson, Mengi. Was going to put Nelson in ahead of Brown, but went with Brown. Yeah, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. Johnson, Morris, Clark, Doa, Ali and Wells. Yeah, like I said, I think Ali would be a good shout for this game, especially the former club. You see what he did in the cup as well. And even though he hasn't been in the squad, I don't think like he necessarily needs to get up to speed majorly. I just think Wilshere said it's been tactical. You know, it's not like, for example, if we bring Jones back, you've got obviously, I guess, get him into the swing of things again. You know, so yeah, I'd definitely be open to starting him. Like I say, yeah. He scored. I think did Nelson score as well. I think he did, if I remember rightly, Dad. I'm pretty sure he did, didn't he? It was Nordos, Ali, and him, I believe. So yeah. But yeah, it is that time. Score predictions, Dad. Now, like I've said, I am expecting a tougher game than it was in the cup. Given their recent home record, obviously 5 unbeaten. Yeah, what do you reckon for this game?
Well, they're fighters, aren't they? So it's going to be tough. But I've said it many times before. This is where our quality should shine through, especially the players we've got, and I think we'll just edge it. But it will be tough. But we need to kick on, and this is a game where we should be kicking on regardless. Or it's Exeter, they beat us in the car. Fuck that. We should be beating them. Okay, but yeah, it'll be tight. But I think the changes will make an effect. They'll have that little hoodoo of the 4-0 where we just tore them apart. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Luton win.
Okay, I'm going to go for a win as well. I'm going to say 1-0. I'm going to go for us to get another clean sheet, which would be very good. But yeah, I just think we'll edge it. I do expect their crowd to be up for it. Obviously, you know, they're only surviving right now on goal difference. So yeah, I'm going to say a tight one, but we win. Because generally we have a good record. Other than that, obviously, loss when we was in the Premier League and the League Cup, we generally have a good record. I think the last time they beat us was like 2015. And we've played quite a few times since. So yeah, that's what I'll say for this game. Other score predictions for this game. Where were they gone? Ryan says, I see 2-0 Luton all over this game. That would be nice. Yeah, them type of games. I know them games you're referring to, like Wigan away. When I went to that, like I knew that was going to be a nailed on 2-0. They were right down there in the Championship. Rotherham away as well. I went to that and I said 2-0. And believe it or not, I actually got the goal scorers right that day. I saw this thing the other day, me predicting. I said Morris and Woodrow. Flipping Woodrow. I predicted him score and he did. So yeah, that was mad. So maybe. Jackie says 2-1 as well. Jordan and Bramall. It's hard if he's going to make a lot of changes. Yeah, I think if he makes changes like loads, I'll be honest, it's probably going to be like a draw or will narrowly win still. But like more so like a 1-0, like I've said. So yeah, that's our predictions there. There is other predictions. Jeez. No, surely not. 4-0. Flipping hell. Imagine that. Jeez. Ali for second half would be class when they're tied for his place. Exactly. And that's the same with Shaden Morris, mate. Honestly, like, mate, there's going to be a stage where you're going to see Shaden Morris in the flesh. Very Burton Luton, to be fair. And, mate, honestly, oh, my God. He's flipping. It's crazy. 2-0. Yeah, Ryan obviously says. Oh, Harry's gone for goals. Okay, interesting. 3-2. It says Bramwell, Wells, and Ali to score for Luton. Yeah, Wells would be good. Wells would be good to score because that would, make his thing happen. Right, Jamie is adamant. She wants to put a prediction into to me. She's gone 1-all. 1-all, which is actually what I was going to say. I've got to be honest. And Kadoa to score. Who else? 3-1 says Paul. Yep, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. That would be a very good result. Watching extra games this season, we should be winning 2-0 versus them. I'll be honest, I've only watched them twice. Obviously, the Cup game against us and the Plymouth game because it's Derby in it. I watched, right on them, but Plymouth have been dreadful this season, and we're kicking on a little bit now. So, yeah, goals from Clark and Mengi. But yeah, your 2 goal scorers, Dad?
I'm going to go Yates and Ali.
Ali, come on, Ali. Yeah, do you know what? I think Yates scored in the Cup, didn't he, against them, if I remember rightly. So, could happen. I'm going to go with... Oh, I don't know. This is difficult, actually. I'm going to go... If Ali actually plays, I'm going to say Ali. If he doesn't, I'm going to say Clark to get our goal. So, yeah, that's how I see it. But yeah, as for Chat GPT, Dad, by the way, actually said a 1-1 draw. So, what's that? Oh, you're sat. Oh, it's put you on mute for some reason. There you go.
I say, are you doing the Chat GPT one now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. 1-1. It said 1-1. Surprisingly, it said other outcomes are 1-0 either way. And it actually had in brackets. It said us due to how we're playing basically. But then for them, it said their home form. So yeah, it'd be interesting. But yeah, I expect a tight game. I do. I mean, if we can come out of this game with another emphatic win, I mean, that I know they're right down there, but that's a statement. I mean, that is a proper statement because as well, just naturally, whatever league you're in, unless a team are full on dead and buried, these games are hot. But even then, look at Wolves in the Premier League. I mean, they're nailed on to go down, but they're still giving teams games. I mean, they got a point yesterday, 3rd point of the season. So, just sometimes these teams, you just don't want to underestimate them, to be honest. And we blew them away in the Cup, which was great to see, but I just think it will be a slightly different game. But if we can win this game, then that is good. That's 3 in a row, and there's a lot more confidence. And there's confidence anyway, but that's even more because, a lot of people said, they've been the home games. Let's see what we're like away. But traditionally, we're better away. I mean, you only have to look at the year we went up, to the Premier League. We were better away. We were like the 3rd or 2nd best side away. And home, we were like average. So, I was saying not too long ago about our shocking home form, but now we're building on a little bit. So hopefully that can continue into the away games. And then we go from there because on paper, obviously football's not played in that, but we have got 2 winnable games. We have. So let's see what we can do. And especially when we're playing Doncaster, I mean, they're so out of form, man. We need to be beating them for me. That's a nailed on. We should be beat. I don't give a shit if it's away. We beat them when we were average. So that's what I will say. But yeah, Harry says late Ali Limbs. I wouldn't say I hate MK Dons, but I dislike them. I just don't like the way they are as a club. In terms of they have that big ass stadium and they just don't sell it out, and they're not really a football club, are they? Let's be real now. Let's just be real. So yeah. But yeah, we are going to wrap up now for this New Year's Eve special hat show, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, we will have the hat show. We'll probably just do it on Friday. Obviously, previewing reacting to this game, previewing the Doncaster game. If any team news comes out on Saturday, I might do a video. But if nothing really comes out, then I'll probably just obviously wait till the game and obviously have the hat show on the Friday, the preview there essentially. But yeah, in terms of the game tomorrow, there will be another watch along. Hopefully, we do not have the same issues we had the other day, but I think we should be cool, to be honest. But yeah, any final things, Dad, before we wrap up? You know what I'm saying?
Look, listen, we need this new year to kick on and think football to happen. Big up Thompson in the background. And yeah, just keep to them winning ways, man. I think I've seen a turnaround. Tomorrow is a tricky one where before we probably would have slipped up, but I think we're going to come through it. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully no like the cup business where I think it's Kabore shot and hit the flipping window. Hopefully not be doing that. Flipping hell. Oh, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that's that. Like I say, we'll have a watch along tomorrow. Obviously, I have a match reaction as well, guys. So do check that out. And by the way, on quickly before I forget, on Sunday, because obviously we play on Sunday, Darth Vader will be doing his like match day vlog thing he done again for the Fleetwood game. I spoke to him yesterday, really enjoyed doing it, and he's going to do it again. So there'll be content from there, and obviously we'll have a watch along as well. So yeah, content coming up from all angles. So yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash a like, subscribe, follow me across all my socials, and yeah, man. Until tomorrow, we will see you guys in a bit. So yeah, until then, take care and peace. Come on, Luton, let's make it 3 out of 3. Let's start 2026 well.
Come on.
And it's Wilshere's birthday as well, actually. So
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Wilshere's birthday as well. So let's get the win on his birthday. Come on, Luton.